What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, here today for some Scream Factory recommendations, 5 Scream Factory Blu-rays that you need to have in your collection. And yeah, I'm gonna recommend 5 Scream Factories for you guys today because it is October and we love talking about horror around here on this channel all year long, but in particular in October. So yeah, these are all horror films right here that we're gonna discuss today. But before we get into it, guys, I wanna ask that if you are not yet a subscriber of the Mid-Level Media channel, what are you waiting for, guys? Hit that subscribe button for more great content. I do all kinds of physical media-based content on this channel. Blu-rays, 4Ks, even DVDs we talk about here, guys, reviews. I do collection haul updates. I do the physical media report every single Monday where I update you on all the latest happenings in the world of physical media. I also do Blu-ray hunts every single Tuesday, additional vlog videos at Dollar General, Dollar Tree, just tons of physical media-based content in your face every single day on this channel. I would definitely appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to hit that like button, guys, and comment down below of everything that we discussed today, all of these recommendations, which ones are some of your favorites, which ones are you gonna purchase based on my recommendation. I will be leaving links for purchase in the description below. So if you do decide that you want them, use those links down below for purchase and you will be supporting the channel because those are Amazon affiliate links. And also feel free to comment your own recommendations in the comment section. Also, maybe some that you would like me to get and talk about on the channel, maybe some that you would like me to recommend in upcoming recommendation videos. Be sure to leave all that in the comment section below. So most of the ones that I'm gonna cover here today, guys, are, I would say, there's one that's more notable. I would say these are kind of more under the radar Scream Factory, Shout Factories. I don't know, maybe everybody's interpretation of that could be a little bit different, but I would say these are ones that don't get talked about very often. One of these I talk about all the time. And also a lot of these are ones that I have been watching for my 31 days of boutique horror. I've been posting those on my Instagram and trying to talk about as many of them as possible here on my YouTube channel. So 3 of them that I've watched recently were for the 31 days of boutique horror. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about them all here with you guys today. And one of them was a first time watch. So it'll be more of like a in-depth review kind of thing. So let's get into the first recommendation. So this one came out back in July. So this is the most recent Scream Factory release that I'm going to talk about with you guys. And Scream Factory kind of spent most of 2021 dormant as far as like their releases. They had a couple of 4Ks at the beginning of the year with They Live and Prince of Darkness, but most of the year, besides Event Horizon, like they didn't really have a whole lot. And then they came back and kind of had a resurgence in July with House of Wax and The Dead Zone. So this is a David Cronenberg directed film, adaptation of the classic Stephen King novel, and starring Christopher Walken, Martin Sheen. This movie really has a great cast. So I watched this one last year for the first time, and Cronenberg as a director, there's movies of his that I love and movies of his that I just really don't like. I actually watched like 10 of them last year. So he's pretty hit or miss with me. I watched this one and thought it was okay the first time. It was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. And when I rewatched this Scream Factory release this past July, I got more and more attached to the Christopher Walken's character and just the story as a whole. And I'm still not totally on board with how they tell the story. It's like pretty much like 3 stories in one. But you know, I feel like they could have maybe like fleshed out a couple of those stories and maybe done a Dead Zone 1 and 2 or something like that. But either way, it still kind of hit me a little bit better on the second watch, and I did like this one quite a bit more. But the transfer on this one, this is one of the best Scream Factory transfers that they have ever done. This is completely just immaculate as far as like the picture quality. So I highly recommend it based on that alone. Yeah, this is a film from 1983. So as far as how much this is right now, this is one that I picked off the shelf to recommend. For one, because it's a really good movie that I do enjoy now. Also a great transfer, but it just went on sale, and I talked about it this week on the Physical Media Report. It just went on sale for $19.99, so this is only $20 right now on Amazon.com. So if you want the Dead Zone, if you wanted to grab it back in July, but the price point of $27.99 was a little bit too steep for you, well, now it is down a full $8, $19.99. I definitely recommend picking this one up because it is a recent release. You just may get the slipcover with that one, so that might be nice. So a recommendation for sure for the Dead Zone. The next one up, guys, is a movie that I just watched. I think I watched this one a couple of nights ago. This was a first time watch And I thought about doing like a full review for this, but I just thought I would lump it into this recommendation video instead. But that is Silver Bullet from 1985. And I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you all that everything that I'm talking about, I didn't even realize it until I put this list together. It's all like within the same 3 or 4 years in the 80s, like the early to mid 80s. So these are all 80s films. I didn't even realize, I didn't even do that intentionally. It just goes to show you how great the horror films in the 80s are. It's just where all the great horror films are. But Silver Bullet, this is a werewolf film, also a Stephen King adaptation. It's like, I swear to God, that guy's done so much. And this is a movie I'd never seen. This is a werewolf movie about a kid that is paralyzed, and you know, he has an uncle that kind of helps soup up his wheelchair, and their town is kind of invaded by this werewolf that's mysteriously killing people in the night. He's climbing into their bedrooms, he's taking them out. I love the way that they set the story up in this one, because it's not like The Howling or American Werewolf in London, which I do think that both of those movies are superior werewolf films to this one. But I love the way that this one's set up, because you go into it with the werewolf already existing. There's no like somebody gets bit, no like process of them turning into the werewolf. It's just, it's already there. The town is already being stalked by this werewolf, and they got to deal with it. It's going on. The murders are happening, and you got this kid played by Corey Haim. You got his uncle played by Gary Busey. It's a really sweet relationship between the two of them. I really enjoyed both of their performances in this movie, and I would even go as far as to say that I think that this is a good movie. I think that it would still be a good movie, like a solid, like maybe family coming of age story, kind of like a family drama with a little bit of comedy infused in there as well. If it didn't have any werewolves, like if there were no werewolves in this movie, I think I would still enjoy it. It's almost like that element is kind of brought in, and not really treated like an afterthought, but it's something that I feel like if you removed it, you could still have a lot of the same like story elements in this one that you would with the werewolves. So that's the one thing that I'll say. Not really a criticism, it was just more of an observation. So yeah, there's several scenes with you know, Gary Busey and his mom. They actually have a really emotional scene where they're talking about the kid and how the best way to take care of him and kind of usher him into his teenage and adult years. And I just think that there was a lot of good acting in this. I mean, Gary Busey nowadays is kind of known for being ridiculous and outlandish and all over the place. And you could see a little bit of that in his performance here, but it's definitely more grounded Gary Busey that's trying to deliver some good emotional moments in this. And I think Corey Haim is really great in this movie too. As far as like the werewolf makeup effects and stuff, I do think it's pretty good, but like I said, you don't really get a lot of those like classic transformation scenes by like Britt Baker in American Werewolf and The Howling. I think those are like way more superior to this one, but I don't know, this is just a fun movie, and the werewolf scenes are pretty gnarly. They're pretty gruesome and gory. That scene in the beginning where he just smacks that dude's head off is pretty damn good. Where he crawls up in the girl's window and freaking slices her all up. So I think there's some really good gore scenes, some really good like werewolf attack scenes in this, and I really enjoy the finale. I enjoy the scene where he's in the wheelchair and he shoots it, that iconic shot right there with the firework in the werewolf's eye, which I wasn't sure what that was all about until I watched the movie, and then it made sense. So I don't know, I think that this film's super fun. To be honest, I think I might like this one. Like I said, I don't think it's a better movie than The Howling. I think as far as just like production value and cinematic quality, I think that The Howling is a superior film, but I might like this one better than The Howling. This might actually be my second favorite werewolf movie now, behind American Werewolf. I thought this movie was a ton of fun, so this is one I'll absolutely watch again. I think I gave it like a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, so pretty high marks from me. And yeah, this has a lot of great special features, some new special features with some actors of the film, some new commentaries. The transfer I thought looked fantastic. So I would absolutely recommend Silver Bullet. Right now you can pick it up on Amazon for $24.96. So it's a little bit pricey, but not as pricey as it was when it first came out. I actually got this when it first came out. I just now getting around to watching it. Directed by Daniel Attias, I think is how you pronounce it. But one interesting thing about him is he directed this movie and then he never directed another film again. As far as his IMDb, I'm pretty sure he only directed TV from this moment on. This is the only film that he actually directed. So yeah, a film from 1985, my birth year. I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend silver bullet. So let's get into the next one, guys. And this is one that I just recently watched with my wife. We're doing a 13 Days of Horror on our channel, Married with Media. I'll leave that link in the description below. So if you're not subbed up to us over there, we do some TV and movie reviews of new shows and TVs. But right now we're going back and revisiting some of the classic horror films. And all of those on that list she's never seen. So we have some first time watch reactions with her reaction for some of those videos. And the most recent one we put up was Firestarter. And we watched the Scream Factory of this one the other night, and this is a really good movie. This is the one movie on this list that I would question as far as its like horror credentials. Like, I don't think it's there's some horrific scenes in it. She's like melting people and stuff, but I don't think it's like a straight up horror movie like the other ones. It's more like sci-fi and a little bit of action. Like Drew Barrymore like straight up turns into the Terminator in like the last 2 minutes of this movie. She's like melting everybody, setting everything on fire. She's like straight up murders like 150 people. Drew Barrymore's really great in this movie though. Outside of her, I like George C. Scott in the film as well. I think he brings a lot of emotional weight to his performance. Even though the relationship between him and Drew Barrymore does get a little cringy, a little strange there at the beginning of, I guess it would be like the tail end of the second act. But you got Martin Sheen in this movie as well, and he's also in the Dead Zone. He's almost playing the exact same character in this movie that he was in the Dead Zone, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Heather Locklear's in this movie for like 2 scenes, so she doesn't really have a ton to do, but it was interesting to see her in there. David Keith I thought was pretty bad in this movie. I don't know of anything else he did. Maybe he was a TV actor because he kind of acted like that in this movie. But yeah, this is a movie from 1984, so the same year that Children of the Corn came out, Nightmare on Elm Street. 84 was a pretty banging year for horror movies. But yeah, I enjoy this movie. I enjoyed it. I think it's a little bit too long. I don't think it needs to be 2 hours. I think they could have told the story in a little bit shorter length. But I enjoy Firestarter. I do recommend this. It was a great transfer as well, and I actually like it. And I need to show the reversible cover art on these, but I love this original poster of Firestarter right here. So it has all the original cover art, and you got some disc art on there as well. So Firestarter is a recommendation, guys. This is directed by Mark L. Lester, and you can get this right now on Amazon for only $12.96. You're probably not going to get the slipcover. You probably won't get slipcovers for any of the ones that I'm talking about here today, but $12.96 is a hell of a good price for a Scream Factory, and I think that this one is absolutely worth it. So the next one up, guys, and if you hear me just throwing them to the ground, don't worry, it's carpet, they're protected, it's okay. So Sleepaway Camp is my next recommendation. This is another one I just watched with my wife recently on the channel. She'd never seen this movie before, so to get to experience the last 5 minutes of this movie with her was a real treat. And guess what? She actually kind of enjoyed that movie. You can go over to her channel. Like I said, the link is in the description, Married with Media, and check out our full reaction. But yeah, I was kind of surprised by how much she actually enjoyed this movie. This is a very campy, very cheesy slasher film that is almost like intentionally bad throughout. Like the performances in this movie are just absolutely crazy. I think that Felissa Rose, I don't think she's given a great performance, but I just love her mannerisms and just the way that she just kind of portrays the character of Angela, how she just doesn't talk for like the first 45 minutes, then she starts talking a little bit, and then she doesn't talk again. Just her facial expressions are just like completely on point, just spectacular. I love her facial expressions in this. And yeah, all the characters are really fun. They're kind of like stereotypes of like the classic 80s like high school teenage type characters. You got the bitch character, which I can't remember her name, but she's really great in that role. The aunt in this movie in the very beginning, she's kind of become iconic at this point, but like she's completely ridiculous and awesome. I don't know, I grow to love this movie more and more every single time I watch it. It's a fun, very fun movie, very cheesy, very campy, but yeah, it's a very fun and unique camp slasher movie. Like if you think this is just a Friday the 13th ripoff, it is not. It is very different than Friday the 13th. You get those feels in there, those Camp Town feels, but it's a very different movie. It is very unique. There's no other movie like Sleepaway Camp, I swear to God. So definitely watch this one. And it also has the classic poster on it as well, so I really love that. Also, another thing to note with that is you don't have a lot of the classic like gore scenes. You do in like the last 30 to 45 minutes, it ramps up a little bit. But there's people that are dying in like unconventional like slasher ways, like not the traditional tropes of the slasher where they just get stabbed or there's some kind of their throat slits. And you don't need Tom Savini in here for some of these kills that happen in the first 30 minutes. I'll just say that. So the last one that I'm going to recommend, and this is the holy grail for Scream Factory releases, at least until I get those Halloween 4Ks in, which is still a sore spot with me. But this is the holy grail in my Scream Factory collection. I love this box set. I'm so happy I own it because I have it with this hard shell case that I love. That's almost as good as the Arrow ones, but not quite. It is got a gloss finish on it, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, Creepshow right here, guys. First off, this is one of the best horror anthology movies of all time. If you have not seen Creepshow, absolutely go see Creepshow. It is two of the masters of horror collaborating together to bring you this terrific collection of 5 different horror stories. You got George A. Romero directing this film. You got Stephen King that wrote all 5 of the stories. Stephen King even acts in the second story of this film, and it's a really good one. That might be it might be my second favorite. I don't know. I'm not sure which one I like more. This one or the birthday cake scene at the beginning. But I also love the Leslie Nielsen one too, and the Leslie Nielsen. And I'm trying to think of, damn, Ted Danson. I don't know, all of them are great. I love all the sequences in this one. I think this is a terrific movie, guys. Right here, just look at this set. Absolutely insane. It is loaded with special features. Fantastic stuff here, guys. Yeah, I love Creepshow. Absolute recommendation. Just thinking of that opening sequence is so colorful. They like do it like it's kind of like a comic book style. It's just, yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, guys. The movie opens up and you have Tom Atkins, the classic horror tough guy from Halloween 3 and Night of the Creeps. He's in this movie, The Fog. But yeah, it has a really cool little booklet in it. I love this booklet. Kind of flip through it a little bit for you guys. And yeah, this is just, I can't overemphasize enough just how great this set is. So we'll flip the artwork on this one. So it has that kind of comic book style and feel to it. Just with that opening scene, kind of they show the, that's why God made fathers. That's why God made fathers. And then they show that thing in the window and then they turn it into like a comic book. Just a really cool style on this one. So yeah, you got that comic book cover right there. You got the birthday cake right there on the back. This is just a great release. Stunning release. You can get it for $34.93 on the Shout Factory website right now, guys. So there you have it. Those are my 5 recommendations, my 5 Scream Factory recommendations that you need to have in your collection. Highly recommend all of these. And if you pick them up right now, you can get all of these. I'm trying to do the math in my head. You can get all of these for about a little bit over $100. So only 5 Scream Factory releases for $100. Not a bad deal in my opinion, guys. So I appreciate you watching. Please like, comment down below your favorites. Also leave me your own recommendations as well. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and we'll see you next time.